Wow. A
You ready?
McDavid goal too.
Well, welcome to the Cinematic Doors podcast. This is episode 19.
Oh, we're almost at 20.
We are almost at 20. We will be reviewing the infamous now, I guess, Napoleon Dynamite this week. But welcome to the show where we give our opinions on your favorite movies. And that slogan is actually true today.
Oh my goodness. It
Because
is.
Nolan suggested this movie. So we are actually
Nolan,
fulfilling...
last name omitted.
Yes. We're actually fulfilling our vision this week.
First was Nathaniel.
And for next week.
Next was there someone else after that?
Who suggested Legally Blonde again?
Kyla.
But, so that'll be next week. Yeah.
But was there anyone between Nathaniel and Nolan?
No, I don't think so. Nathaniel messaged me, so I will pull that up. But before I pull that up and say that on the air, Nathaniel does listen. He listened to our last episode and he has some opinions on our lists that we gave for our guilty
he does
pleasures. So yeah, I'm going to read it out on the air. But before we do that, we just want to let you know who's hosting the show. So I'm one of your hosts, right. Jordan Clark.
And my name is Joshua Dore.
He's the other host, and we host this podcast together. You can find us on the social medias. You can go to Instagram.
The media socials. I listened to a podcast recently, and they had all of this at the end of the podcast.
Oh yeah, people have it at the end or the beginning.
Like they don't just berate you.
I like getting it over and done with. So you can go to Instagram at Cinematic Doors, at Cinematic_Doors. You can go to Twitter at Cinematic Doors. You can email us, cinematicdoors@gmail.com. How do you spell doors, Josh?
Dores.
Find all that in the description down below. Like our channel, subscribe, share it with your friends, share everything.
Do all that jazz. All that jazz.
Because we do this because you listen. So, and we do have listeners, so that's awesome. Don't
shout out to listener number 1.
Yeah. Don't forget to email us or let us know in the DMs or message us on Twitter or
I've had a couple
you
people
interact with us. But
a couple people who actually interact with me on the Twitter.
Nice.
Like, I tweeted saying that I was watching the movie for our next one, and I said that I was embarrassed because I was watching it in public.
Yeah.
And someone said, "Don't be embarrassed. That's a good movie." And so there's people who actually care, and it's so good.
It's awesome. We're getting there. So let us know what movies you want us to review. Our next 2 episodes are requests. So we are going to be reviewing in April. We will review the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Let's go.
That'll be awesome.
Speaking of,
I texted Josh an exciting thing the other day.
Right. Wes Anderson movie.
Let's go.
I'm so excited for that. I love Wes Anderson.
When is it coming out, Josh, again? Is it fall?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's called Asteroid City, and almost every known star is in it. So
I love that name, by the way. That's just a good name.
It looks very Wes Anderson. Like
I didn't watch the trailer.
Oh, you didn't watch it? Wow. Yeah, it's really
Jordan, you should understand that I don't watch trailers. And you sending me that trailer was actually very offensive.
Well, I'll send it to you again.
No.
When they release a new one, I'll send it.
No.
So
speaking of Mario.
So that's exciting. Speaking of Mario.
I have been seeing everywhere the new trailer for Mario or like newer trailers. And I'm like, are you trying to ruin this movie for me?
Right.
Like, stop.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
There's so much advertisement for this movie.
Well, Nintendo released that Nintendo Direct where they showed the final trailer, and I just didn't watch it. So
no, and like
I'm sold. I'm excited.
It was already getting to the point where it's almost spoilery. Mm-hmm. Like the first trailer was good, I think, but then when it got to later on and like it showed Luigi, I was like, no. You just spoiled that.
Apparently, it is like 2 hours. Like it's kind of long for
Ooh.
an animated movie.
Yeah,
So
I'm actually gonna go to this movie for my birthday.
let's go.
Like I'm gonna have a birthday party. Like throwback to when I was 10.
We
We invited
are.
all my friends and
I'm
Jordan,
gonna
I
go to the
guess.
movies. I'm gonna go to the movies a few times as well. I want to go to Super Mario Brothers with Josh.
Yes.
I also want to go see John Wick 4, which you
Yeah.
are seeing this
My
weekend.
whole family, not my whole family, my immediate family, we're all going to John Wick.
Nice. And
Which,
I know you saw
yeah.
65. Don't say anything about it, but
Oh.
I am gonna go see that or see it. So down the road we will review that movie as well. So we have a
Okay.
couple of movies
Are we
we'll
reviewing
review.
that?
I don't know. Like I want to see it still. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know.
we'll see. But we will definitely review John Wick 4. We'll definitely review Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
I'm excited for those two movies specifically.
Specifically.
It's actually exciting to have like movies I want to see in the
I
theaters coming
know,
up.
and April just seems really good.
I didn't even realize Super Mario Brothers was in
Like
April, and
I'm starting April off really well
I'm like really
because
pumped for that movie. Like I'm so excited for
like
Super Mario Brothers.
April Fool's Day. I'm going to see John Wick 4 with the
Yeah, that
fam,
I'm so
and
excited for that
then
movie. Yeah,
like just down the road will be Super Mario. April is looking out to be a good year. Good year. I mean, good month, right?
right,
Plus, my birthday's in April.
right.
I'm turning the big 20.
Crazy,
So
getting
like
old.
officially I'm gonna be old like Jordan.
Yeah,
Like if you see gray hairs, it's because I'm old.
I got lots of gray hairs. I got enough for both of us.
Are you like constantly searching though?
No, like my parents both prematurely had gray hair. Like my mom was fully gray by 32, I think, or 33. So she just always colored her hair.
33?
Yeah. So like I've had gray hair since
That is a young age.
so I've had gray hair since I was like 26, 27. So I got quite a few.
No. What?
Yeah. I got quite a few gray hairs. Like all
So
my front here, this
do you
is
dye your
gray
hair?
and no, no, no.
Will you dye your hair?
So like when I don't put stuff in my hair,
Mm-hmm.
it's really easy to see. Like and like
Oh well,
this is like that's
you might
gray,
need to
that's
show that
gray,
picture.
that's gray. Like you can see it. Look, that's
You're a
gray.
silver fox.
I am. So that's the way it
Do you think
goes.
you'll ever dye your hair?
I don't know. I mean, if I'm like 40 and
You should
fully
like
gray,
bleach
yeah,
your hair.
probably. Ugh, no, I used to do that
Go blonde.
when I was
Yeah.
in high school.
What if we both just bleached our hair?
I mean, I would do it for a fundraiser, but
Fundraise towards the podcast.
or a good cause. Yeah. So that is. So, Josh, how was your week?
It's been good.
Yeah.
Finals are coming up, and like I know it should sound scary to me, but I am just so ready for this semester to be done.
Yeah.
Good riddance to film class. Although I won't be able to complain about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the end of an era. I'm so ready for school to be done.
Yeah.
And just to live life for like 4 months without school. Yeah. But other than that, like I started watching shows. Like I watched Wednesday, the whole thing of Wednesday. I was like so behind on that, but I
Okay.
actually really enjoyed it. And then I started watching Ted Lasso. Have you heard of Ted Lasso?
I heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. It's an
Okay.
enjoyable show. And like Jordan, you know I don't like TV shows very much, right?
Well, I didn't know that. I assumed that you didn't like them as much because you don't
Yeah,
really like
like
talking about them.
it's just hard to just commit to like a whole season, but like oh, Jordan, you literally just sent me a friend request on Be Real.
I know, but
That
finish
just
your
proves
thought.
that you're not listening. Are you even listening to
Oh,
me?
I am. I am.
Okay. So, what was I saying? Yeah, I don't like TV shows because it's just so much of a commitment. But Wednesday was 8 episodes. I pretty much finished that in a day because I had one day off, and
Right.
I for some reason decided to watch Kids Choice Awards, and
Oh
then
no.
Jenna Ortega won, and then I was like, oh, Wednesday. So then I
Right. Okay.
binged the whole season.
So how is Wednesday?
It was really good, and it's a mystery. Oh, Jordan's at it again.
Here we go.
Hey, we're just posing for his Be Real.
Are you gonna plug this thing
Okay.
or what?
Yeah. What?
Are you gonna plug this app? Oh my goodness, that's an embarrassing picture.
I just mentioned it. That's all I need to do. If
Cool.
you want to figure out what it is, you can. But yeah, Wednesday's pretty good. It's a lot better than I thought it was gonna be.
Okay.
So that's a plus.
Yeah.
Ted Lasso is just it's just like an emotional movie. Not movie. There's emotion and wholesomeness.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good for a movie about football, not
Mm-hmm.
American football, but European football. Yeah.
Okay.
Also, another big thing. Sorry, I'm going on a bit.
That's okay.
A guy named Josh Dore followed me on Instagram, and we've just been chatting.
That's like my group of Jordan Clarks, remember? And we talked
I
about it
know.
on an
Like
earlier
I'm
episode
I'm starting my Josh Dore,
group.
my very own Josh Dore,
Did you
and
plug the
he's from
podcast?
Canada.
Did you plug the podcast with him?
I haven't yet. I
You
haven't
gotta do
yet.
that. You gotta
I'll have to do that now.
evangelize.
Like he's messaging me right now.
Nice.
Wait, are you say evangelize as in like
Share the good
this is our
news
mission.
of
Just
the Cinematic
share the
Doors podcast.
podcast. Oh gosh. But yeah, no, it's been interesting. We've just been talking, and at
Nice.
first I thought it was just like because like I've had a camper like make an account and then just call it Josh,
Right.
and so
So that's
and
like
their name wasn't Josh.
borderline. That's like
So
borderline
so at
creepy.
first I
Yeah.
thought it was just somebody who was just pretending to be me.
Okay. Yeah.
But no, it's literally their very own. Like they are their own Josh Dore.
Nice.
Although it could be Dore, but it's Josh Dore spelled the same way. And
Mhm.
so, you know what this tells me though is that this podcast needs to go somewhere so that me Josh Dore can be the Josh Dore.
That's right. That's why we have to evangelize.
Yeah.
Share the good news.
Evangelize is a
So TV, you're watching a bit of
Hey,
TV.
have you
That's
heard the
interesting.
good news? Yeah.
That's
So,
interesting.
I'm kind of going through that phase.
I rewatched Winning Time on HBO or Crave. The
Mhm.
the almost like the dramatized version sports drama of the Lakers Showtime dynasty, the beginning of it. I love that show. It is so good. It's really good. It's super flashy and like
Does it have emotions?
yeah, it does. It does. And it tells the character arcs are really good. And I don't think it's like super true, but it's super fun to watch. And the acting's really good. There's a bit of nudity and a bit of just a tiny bit of sex stuff in it. So I just fast forward that stuff. But it's really,
That's fair.
yeah, it's like really good. I love sports stories, like sports dramas. So it's
Mhm.
up there. Like it is like one of the
Like
best,
Mighty
one of the
Ducks.
better like Mighty Ducks, like Friday Night Lights, the movie, not the show. That movie's really good.
I
Remember the
have never heard
Titans?
of that.
What? You've never heard
The
of
Blind
Friday Night
Side.
Lights? You've never heard of
Blind
Friday Night
Side.
Lights, the movie?
Blind Side.
That movie's not that good.
I haven't. I haven't heard. You don't
Oh
like The
my
Blind
goodness.
Side?
It's fine. Like it's
I like it.
yeah,
It's
it's not
emotional.
bad. It's just not my favorite. Like Friday Night Lights is like way better.
Well, you're saying it's not good. You're saying it's not good.
No, like it. I would give Blindside like a 2 or 2.5 out of 5.
Uh, is that bad?
It's not a pass.
That's like middle.
Well, I guess it is a pass because I'm out of 5. That's a pass.
Yeah.
So 3 is
I don't
like
know.
good. So like Blindside's fine. It's just like, yeah, like whatever. kind of bland,
I don't know
predictable.
what sport is Friday Night Lights.
It's football, but it's college or it's high school football. Yeah,
See, I don't
it's really
like
good.
football except for Blindside.
Tim McGraw's in it,
Oh,
and
Tim.
he's excellent in it. So that's a very good sports movie. Remember the Titans with Denzel Washington is so good. That movie's so it's football.
Creed.
Creed is good. Boxing. Rocky. I told you to watch
Have you seen
Rocky.
Slapshot?
It's fine. There's a movie called The Rocket, which is made in Canada. It's a French-made movie.
What is it?
It's about Rocket Richard. It's the best hockey movie next to Mighty Ducks that I've
Oh.
seen. Yeah,
See,
it's very
when
good.
I was looking up hockey movies, I couldn't find one. By the
There's not a
way,
lot.
just to give a bit of insight, Jordan and I, especially me, sports are a really big thing right now, especially hockey.
Well, I love
Hockey's going to
sports. Yeah,
playoffs.
I'm so both my
And
teams, the Lakers and the Flames, could make the playoffs. So I
but the
was like
thing
really
is,
not excited for
the
playoffs, but now I'm
flame
kind of am.
the Flames make the playoffs.
Means the Jets don't.
But the thing is, they're going to be out on the first round.
Hey, you never know, man. You never know with hockey. You never know.
I guess, but I don't know. I can't see them going anywhere
At least
else
I don't cheer for two
besides
teams.
out.
At least
Okay,
I'm not
to be
having a.
fair,
At least I'm not
I have
having
no,
a fair with my team.
I have not been cheering for the Jets very often recently. So,
I don't know.
and I have only been watching hockey for like maybe 4 months now. So it's fair that
Hashtag
I'm in between.
hashtag not a real fan, but that's okay.
You know what? No, I'm a real Oilers fan. Maybe not a real Winnipeg fan, but I'm a real Oilers
So
fan.
let's say the Oilers lose in the first round and Winnipeg makes the
I
playoffs,
will.
Flames don't, and the Winnipeg Jets make it to the finals. Are you going to take that hat off and put your Jets hat on then?
Well, I mean, at that point, I have to cheer for Winnipeg. like, finals are different because if the Oilers get out, I'm cheering for whichever Canadian team is still in it, and that's probably going to be the Leafs.
Ooh, I don't think it'll be. The Leafs can't. They have the curse of the first round, man. I don't know.
That is true. That is true. But
My
like, I don't know.
dream, my
Like,
absolute
no
dream
matter,
would be for the Oilers and the Leafs to be in the finals. That would be
that would be
incredible.
amazing.
Yeah, that would
That
be
would
awesome.
be Austin
So let's see.
Matthews versus Connor McDavid. By the way, Connor McDavid just got his 300th goal.
Man, that guy's
So yeah,
unreal.
I
And Draisaitl's
recently I've been
unreal.
listening. I've been listening to a hockey podcast, so this is very much
Right.
becoming a bit of that. This this podcast is movies plus whatever I'm interested in at the time.
So Josh, you should write this down. You need to watch The Rocket. I do own it, so it's excellent. It's really good. It's one of my favorite sports movies, and I love hockey. So I do. There was that hockey movie. I don't know what it's called. It's about that indigenous player. Do you remember what that's
Indian
called?
Horse. That
Yes,
movie is
I want
not
to
as
watch it.
hockey as I thought it was. That movie
Yeah,
is
okay.
actually really emotional.
I do want to watch that movie. So that looked really good. That's a
It's
good
good.
story.
It's good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. It was
that guy's
it was
story is really
hard.
cool. Yeah,
It was hard, but I think it was good, especially when it comes to like learning about the past
right.
and like the issues
I would
in
honestly say
Canada.
the
But
same thing about the Rocket because it takes place in Quebec when they're becoming a nationalist province, and it's about the Habs in the original six, and no one liked them because they were French and they were Canadian, and so it does a good job of capturing what that era was like and representing.
yeah,
They were the only Canadian team next to the Leafs, right? So representing Canada,
yeah.
and they were way better than the Leafs at the time, like way better. So the Leafs really were terrible. So they were usually the only team
Well, the Leafs have always
representing
kind of been.
Canada in the playoffs. So
When was the last time the Leafs have won?
I think
Have they
it's
won?
35 years. Let me check.
What has Calgary ever won?
Yeah, 89, the year I was born.
Oh, so it just only makes sense that you're a Calgary fan.
Oh, okay. So the longest currently active Stanley Cup drought belongs to the Toronto Maple Leafs, who have gone
Oh,
55 seasons without winning the Stanley Cup.
aw. They're like, you know what? They're like, what is that? See, I'm not qualified enough to make this uh comparison, but it's like the Yankees or something. What are they?
The
That
Maple
one team that
Leafs?
just will never win. No, like they're like that one baseball
Well,
team that
well,
just will
the
never win.
Maple Leafs are like the Yankees because they have like the most money in the league. They have quite a bit, and it's the biggest Canadian market with the most
Hmm.
pressure, I would say, and they have the most money.
But like, but what
So
is that one team that just will never win? And like,
I don't know.
you
I don't
can't
know what you
bet.
mean.
You can't bet on them. Oh, this hurts.
Yeah, it's not. Maybe it is the Yankees. I don't know. I don't think it's similar to the Yankees in the sense that they have all the money, but the Yankees have won more
Yeah,
than the Maple Leafs. So,
like I think it's mentioned in Back to the Future.
oh yeah, it might be the Yankees. I don't know. I don't know baseball that well,
I don't
so
know.
I don't really care about baseball. Cool. So,
Yeah, it's
Josh,
just
did
Blue
anyone
Jays.
text? Yeah? Did anyone text us the phrase from last week?
Yes, you know what? I did the thing again where
You dropped the
they
ball.
texted me. It texted me, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And let me see. Um, it's between. Let
What
me
was the
find this.
What was the phrase again?
I'm trying to find it. I did drop the ball. No, you know what it was? It's classic Disney Beauty, and Kyla texted it to me. And at
Hey,
first,
good job,
I
Kyla.
was really confused of what she was talking about.
Yeah,
I was like, "What?" And this was literally like a day after it released. But the thing is, we talked about it on a Thursday, so we record on Thursdays, and it released on Saturday. So by the time people texted to me, it's been at least like 2 days. It's been 2 days since I recorded this, so obviously I forgot.
yeah.
And this was around the time when Jonathan Major controversy happened. And so I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then I sent her that. I'm like, "Are you talking about this?" And she's like, "No." That was the end of the podcast. I was like, "Oh." I was like, yeah, so I was a little confused.
Yeah, that Jonathan Major stuff is a big deal. So actually, there's more to that story. So all I'll say is that make sure you don't jump to conclusions with people until they are proven guilty in the court of law, not court of opinion.
Yeah.
So it looks like Jonathan
So
Majors, he was charged last week. He was arrested and charged with domestic battery or violence with his girlfriend or fiance or
strangulation.
wife. Yeah. So basically, in New York State, the aggressor or the accused automatically gets arrested in domestic situations to split them up.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then they are in jail for a couple days. So it's come out now that Jonathan's lawyer has released texts showing that his girlfriend is his girlfriend has rescinded the accusations, and
Mm-hmm.
he's the one that called the cops because it got out of
Oh,
control. And
wow.
so, and that's what the text show. So there is,
This is insane.
it's just a good. It's just, and we're covering this because Jonathan Majors is a major villain in the MCU. He's a good
Jonathan
actor.
Major's part.
He's starting to get canceled a bit. Like some of his commercials are getting pulled from the March Madness stuff. So I think it's just a good reminder to not judge right away and just to wait for all the information to come out, and
Mm-hmm.
we can keep them in our prayers. Sounds like a tough situation. So we might not be
Yeah.
seeing Jonathan Majors for a while. So that's kind of sad. He's a good actor, but we'll hopefully
Well,
this all gets worked
rest
out.
in peace to the MCU.
That's what honestly, that's why I text you that article. I
Because
was
I'm
like,
just like,
oh
I saw that. I'm
no.
like, well, it's done. Like,
Yeah.
whatever they had left of like hope is gone.
Right.
Like,
Right.
so
So we'll see what happens, but that does affect the movie podcast because we reviewed Ant Man and that was the best part of Ant Man was Kane. So
yeah. And
in all of our opinions. We liked Kane. We liked his depiction by Majors.
we loved MODOK.
We were upset that Kane was gone at the end because that was the best part of the movie. And
We
MODOK,
loved
yeah,
we loved MODOK.
it's terrible. So Nathaniel Mills, who requested us to do Jurassic World Dominion last year,
Yes.
he wrote into me. He messaged me, said, "Hey, I watched your last podcast." Or so he said this. He said, "I watched that episode of Jurassic World that you guys did.
Mm-hmm.
Some things I agree with you guys, but I do disagree on some things too." Ultimately, Nathaniel loves that movie. He loves
What
it.
does he disagree on?
He doesn't say specifically. Maybe I'll ask him. And then he said,
This will
also,
be our ongoing lore.
I watched your guys' last episode, the Guilty Pleasures one. I have to say, nice picks for movies on your part to me.
My part? Oh.
To Jordan. So thanks, Nathaniel, for writing in. And
I
Nathaniel
feel like
messaged
half
me.
of the
And
people won't even know what your movies are.
well, you got to listen to that episode, right? So I'm not going to say the name.
I have to listen to that episode? I was there.
One of them was Saw. So 50%.
That's true. That was the most well-known of your movies.
For you, right? Well, I guess
for me,
in general.
For me.
Yeah, because I'm old.
But I feel like I encompass a lot of the general public.
Right now, yeah.
In ways.
Well, you're evangelizing the show in an effective way.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm talking to people, I'm telling people who are my age to watch it, and so obviously they're gonna take my side more on things.
But even Nathaniel,
because I'm like,
quite a bit.
Nathaniel's I go up to people. I go up to people and I say, "Hey, you should listen to my podcast. It's me and some cranky old man." And then so they go into this.
You don't say
podcast.
crusty. You don't say crusty.
Well, it depends. Sometimes I use some colorful language. Sometimes I don't. Colorful language is as in not swearing. I just want to. I would never cross my heart. Whatever.
I cannot wait to bleep something out that you say on a.
No, you can't do that. Because
I can do whatever I want.
Put me in a bad night. You know what? If he bleeps me out, just know that isn't a swear. I did not swear, and that we should cancel this man, this crusty man. Shout out to Hannah.
Shout out to Hannah. Watch the show, Hannah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Cool.
I'm just trying to say that the people I tell are usually on my side because they know me. And I feel like sometimes you drop the ball on advertising.
We're getting there, Josh. Don't worry. We're getting there. I'm busy. We're getting there.
Okay. So I'm busy too, but it's just I meet someone new. Hey, by the way, I have a podcast. Fun fact. Sometimes you have to lose your dignity.
Yeah. Yeah. So this week we are reviewing Napoleon Dynamite. Thanks, Nolan, for the suggestion. And we're going to get right into reviewing this old comedy. So let's review Napoleon Dynamite.
This is 2004. Hold up. It's 2004. That's not old.
Girls only want boyfriends who have great skills. You know, like nunchuck skills, bow hunting skills, computer hacking skills.
How was school?
Worst day of my life? What do you think? Idiot! What kind of bike do you have?
It's a sledgehammer.
Dang, you ever take it off any sweet jumps?
What are you drawing?
A liger.
What's a liger?
It's my favorite animal. It's like a lion and a tiger mixed.
Why are you so sweaty?
I've been practicing some dance moves. Is Trisha here?
Is that on my driveway?
That's my ride.
Okay, so let's look at this movie. By the way, 2004 next year is
20.
20 years. That's old.
Yeah. Okay, well,
So Jared
Jordan.
Hess directed this
No,
movie.
Jordan, no. We
Yeah.
need to cut. We need to get this out of the way.
What?
I can't be old because then our dynamic is dead.
That's fair. I guess you're 20, right?
We can't be
this
too
movie
old, dude.
is a year younger than you. That's wild.
Yes,
That's crazy, eh?
it is.
That is pretty wild. That
And
makes
this
me
movie,
feel very old.
you're welcome.
Because I watched this movie and I was in grade
I think I
9.
watched this movie first like 3 years ago.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I remember, so like I was in high school and the trailers came out and we all just thought this movie was going to be really stupid and
The
dumb.
trailer looks so awful. I just
Yeah.
watched it.
And we just let it go
does
through the
not.
theaters. It didn't last long in theaters. And we rented it, like our youth group, some of our youth, because my dad was a youth pastor, they all came over to our house afterwards and we watched it. And yeah, I won't give it away, I guess, but we were laughing very hard and we were like, this movie's awesome, it's great. And so it surprised us. But now it's interesting because I hadn't seen it in a long time and I recently rewatched it. And so it'll be interesting to see, like, even from your perspective, if this movie does hold up, if it is still good, if it is still,
because I come at this from like
right?
Like I watched this in the 2010
Right.
2010 decade, and so
And it came out in
or maybe even
2004.
2020. I think I might have even watched it in 2020. So
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea when I watched this movie, but I know that I was old enough to use my brain. And
So
you know what's interesting about this movie is that when I watched it the first time, it had the same effect on me as in Monty Python and the Quest of the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
But the first time I watched it, I was like, what did I just watch?
Right.
Like, that's just the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I'm just confused and just kind of baffled that it's a movie. The second time I watch it, I embrace it.
Okay. So before I'm going to ask you what you think about this movie right away, Josh. But let's just say, let's just highlight who made it. So Jared Hess made it. It's his first movie. He's the man who brought us Nacho Libre, Gentlemen Broncos, The Insufferable Gru. Oh no, he's not. He didn't direct that. So he's directed some other movies after that, but they keep getting worse reviews. As so,
fair enough.
His three, like his trilogy, I guess you could call it, is Napoleon Dynamite, Nacho Libre, and Gentlemen Broncos. Where
I've actually seen Nacho Libre.
Yeah, so have I. And I've seen Gentlemen Broncos as well.
I haven't seen that.
So Jared Hess directed it. John Heater is the star of this movie, who plays Napoleon Dynamite. And
has he been in anything else since?
So once this movie released, he went through the zeitgeist of being in a bunch of stuff right away. So he was in Blades of Glory with Will Ferrell, which is like the figure skating parody movie, which is awesome, by the way. I love that movie. He was in a bunch of like just like 20 to 30% Rotten Tomato type straight to DVD comedies. Like he was in quite a few of those.
Like he phoned it in to get the money.
Yes. And he pretty much got typecast. Like,
that's fair.
He pretty much played, not quite as far as the Napoleon Dynamite character, but he did get typecast as kind of the dumb, quirky,
that's fair. I feel like a lot of like one-hit wonder stars end up being like that.
Yeah.
Especially in comedy, I'd say.
His most, like, Blades of Glory is probably the farthest role from his normal one. And he is quite funny in that movie. But there was a time where it just got tiring having John Heater and stuff. So he was in quite a bit of stuff. I'm just pulling up his filmography here right now. What? Dude. Okay, he's in some recent stuff that got like really good reviews. Like he was in Just Like Heaven, the Reese Witherspoon romantic comedy. He was in a Tremors spinoff. He was in Grown Ups.
He was in Grown Ups?
Yeah, it says that here. He was in the Benchwarmers,
He
School
must
for
have been like a background
Scoundrels,
character.
Surfs Up. He doesn't really star in a lot. Like he is usually that background character. So yeah.
Hmm.
But he's in some recent stuff that, like, when Jeff tried to save the world, and it has a good review. Kind of want to watch that now.
Haven't even heard that.
Neither have I.
By the way, the
And the
Oilers won.
good
Just
job.
saying.
And the Tiger Hunter, yeah. So he's in some recent stuff that is actually getting decent. This movie got nominated for a bunch of Indie Awards. Came out in 2018. So, anyways, so that's John Heder. That's John Heder, John Heder. And so he is the star of Napoleon Dynamite. And everyone else is pretty unknown. But we have some really quirky characters in this movie. So, Josh, what are your thoughts on Napoleon Dynamite?
I like this movie.
Yeah.
The second time watching this, I had a blast. And it's one of those movies that you just watch to just live life. And you just, I don't know. This movie, I feel like my humor is fairly similar to this movie sometimes. Like, not like in a way, I guess. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie.
How would you describe the humor in this movie? Because
it's like dry.
It's a mixture of dry, silly, like slapstick at times, almost.
Yeah,
and it also has like it's almost like so dumb you don't even realize what you're watching. Like you said with Monty Python.
Yeah.
Like there are moments, like even with the LaFonda character, right? Like there's such a build up to LaFonda, and you think the whole time you think it's going to be this man, like this, like,
yeah, I know. And then it's just like this,
it's like a legitimate romance.
Just like this actual female, and she actually loves him.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like a catfish type thing.
I know. And there's like that scene where he's got his socks on still, and they like do footsies under the table, and
it's just like this movie, it just.
And that was with Kip.
I don't even know how to explain it. Like I'll make jokes like that out of nowhere where it's just a dumb joke, or it's just silly. And like, especially when I'm working with like children, my humor is just goofy.
Right. And this movie does have like, and it's not goofy humor that's like so this movie is still funny. It's not like it is still
it's
really
not like
funny.
Children's humor. It's like it's good. It does it really well. As in, like, I don't know. Like you can laugh at it because it's kind of dumb.
Well, you even have you have the Rex Kwon Do character, like the guy who does the the fighting workout videos or whatever,
and like the football.
Yeah, like Uncle Rico wanting to be a football star. Like that whole arc is amazing.
You'll never be a football. And he's like recording it in the field.
And remember when he has Napoleon's eating that steak? He's like, "Hey, watch this!" And he just like grabs the steak and throws it at Kip, or throws it at Napoleon. Sorry, and Napoleon's on the bike and it hits him and he falls off the bike, and then Kip's like, "Nice," like, nice. And it's like, so deadpan. Like it's such a deadpan.
Like they don't react. Like they'll do the most
very seriously.
They'll do the crazy. Like when Napoleon was doing his dance scene, like he has just the most straight face.
Yes.
And then after he's like, "Thank you,"
and so does everyone else, like in the crowd and stuff. Like it's like a heroic moment. Yeah.
I know, and it's like building this up. It's like, whoa, he's doing it, but nobody is reacting, and that's the thing. It's just like it takes, I guess, not normal situations, but it takes like situations you may see in a comedy. So like, let's say this was a real, like not a real comedy, a different comedy. He would be doing the dance scene. They would probably show scenes of like people being weirded out,
right,
or like one person really hyping it on, like have comedy bits like that. This movie takes that and just makes everybody deadpan, just staring.
I guess
it's just
I guess it kind of does what The Office did. It's similar to The Office before The Office was a thing, right? Like it kind of
it almost lets the audience react.
Yes.
So it's like there's no reaction in the film, so you get to add the reaction.
Yes.
And it's just
And they think they're like in a drama maybe, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they're
and
like because like he's going through like girl troubles and Pedro too, and like he's running for president, and like this is the most serious thing
yeah,
ever.
the
But
class
out from the
president thing is
outside,
awesome. Yeah.
looking out like through the window, like through our lens, like it's the most silly thing. Like he has tater tots in his pocket.
Yeah.
Like
So
what?
good.
And there's a llama and like
I
vote for
love that.
Pedro. It's just
Every time, like, so like when my family first watched it, we were around that scene, like, Tina, eat your food, and he's like throwing the food at the
Tina,
llama, and
come on, Tina.
and then like
Oh,
Kip wants to
it's
build
just
that time machine, like it just keeps building on itself,
and
and
it's just weird and
it's so
weird,
good.
and he
Yeah.
like he has, and he's just like the whole thing where he's like in love with this girl who's on like a brochure,
Right.
and it's such a weird thing, and his love interest comes to the door, and she's like, "You want to buy some?" I think it was bracelets. I can't quite remember.
Yeah, they're like those little like
She's like,
bracelet things, or
"Do you
yeah,
want to buy some bracelets?" And he's like he just stares, and then she's like, it's just like nobody reacts, and everybody just like Pedro's like, "Can I eat those? Are you gonna eat those?" Like blank face,
And it's like
monotone voice,
it's cuts, right? So it cuts to each
and
side, and yeah,
it's just it's the most monotone. Like it's so far from what a laugh track is.
right.
Like you
right.
think of a comedy sitcom, there's a laugh track. This
Right.
movie is on the very far left. Like laugh track is right, this is left.
Right.
Complete opposite sides of the spectrum. As in, this movie does not give you your reaction. It's just up to you. And I think, and this, like, I haven't seen many like movies or shows that create it to this extent.
Right. Right.
Because even The Office, like, you have Jim, who is like the character you relate to because you're like, yeah, wow, look at that classic Jim smirk. Wow, Jim, he's so relatable. These guys are crazy. This movie has nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody that's relatable. Nobody that's like complete, like normal, I guess. It's just, there's no person you can put yourself in the shoes of. And it's just,
But that's the charm of it, like, because it takes place in Idaho, like Middletown, America.
which
and
Idaho is an absolute, I don't even know. It's just, it's so blah there.
So and like it's almost like a snapshot of just like high school culture. Like the whole meat of the movie is Pedro running for class president, right? And
Yeah.
the campaign for that, and even that scene where he creates that ramp and he's gonna
Yeah.
jump off the ramp on
And
his
just-
bicycle, and he just like, and like we did that. I did that. Like we used to like ride in shopping carts down hills and like push each other into the curb. Like we would copy what we saw in Jackass, you know, like the movies.
Oh my
with
gosh.
Johnny Knoxville. Like we would do that kind of stuff, and that like this movie captures that so well, and it's
Yeah.
hilarious. Like it still is really funny, even when the bullies come in and they start like they take Napoleon's neck and they're like going like this with his neck, and that's it, and like and then they just leave. It's like a still frame shot of just like and then just
and he's just like kind of like bouncing
Yes.
back. He's like,
Yeah.
no.
and you're just like, what? Like what? Like, it captures that random humor so well. And it's weirdly innocent. Like each character is like really wholesome and innocent in this
Yeah.
movie. Even the bullies, right? So and
like,
we loved
they
it.
just seem dumb.
We loved it because Hilary Duff's sister was in this movie, and that's like one of the
What?
only movies she's in. Yeah, she plays the jock's like girlfriend.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So, and then there's that whole weird side thing where Uncle Rico is taking portraits, and then he's like super creepy. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And he's taking portraits of like Napoleon's like girl or like girlfriend, and
Yeah.
it's like so creepy and
Uncle
weird.
Rico is such a weird character. He's just but he's that uncle. Like, you know what I mean when I say that uncle?
Right.
He's that uncle.
So
The yeah.
this movie, Josh, now I've always thought this. I want to hear what your thoughts are on this. This movie does give me some Wes Anderson vibes. Like it reminds me a little bit of a Wes Anderson movie, like the way it's shot, even with
I
just
guess
its
that. I
just
guess
its
yeah.
still frame shots, and like even when he's waiting for the bus and it's just like a shot of his house
Yeah.
standing in front of
See,
it, and it looks kind of like it feels blocked
I
like a Wes
I
Anderson
can
film.
understand that in the sense where shooting, but when it comes to music, no. And also when it comes to like dialogue, because like Wes Anderson has a lot of like kind of like quick dialogue where it's like they
Yes.
say something. This movie has that, and it's just kind of like a bunch of scenes put together. Wes Anderson is a lot more artistic and like put together and like formed well. This movie
Yeah.
is like stripped down Wes Anderson.
Okay. Yeah.
And so yeah, like I'm thinking you're
Well,
probably thinking a lot of like hotel or Budapest Hotel. Like
yes.
great Grand Budapest Hotel where it's kind of like that and it's like the one guy is talking to this guy. It's just like quick like things and then it's just next scene.
Well, in the music, like this movie, it's like trying to capture the '80s, right? So
Yeah.
the awkward
I
costumes of
can
the
tell that
'80s,
we
and
are gonna be friends. By the
yes, and
way,
like and the
song
dance scene at the
reminds me
end.
of Conan O'Brien and Friends. Have you listened to that podcast?
No,
It starts with that every time. And every time I listen to that podcast, I think of Napoleon Dynamite.
there you go.
Because that song is just forever ingrained with that movie. Which that song alone is perfect for this movie. I don't know why, but it's just the vibe of that song captures the vibe of this movie.
So this movie does feel like, um, you talked about how it kind of strings along certain, like just almost like mini sketches in a row, right? This movie does
Mhm.
feel like they had a lot of good like sketch ideas, almost like a SNL movie, right? Like
Yeah.
what SNL used to be. It used to be good.
But there's still like an overall plot.
There is, yeah, but it does feel like, these sketches that are really, and like each sketch kind of builds on the last one. Like it gets more absurd and more crazy and just funnier, right? So,
Mhm.
which is why I think this movie does work well, and because it just builds into the absurd nature, and even with Kip on his rollerblades getting pulled by, and then like the classroom scene where the one guy's asking Napoleon for the tater tots, like he notices that he has them, he's like, give me some tots, give me some tots, he's like, no, get your own.
No.
Like
Get
it's
your own
just so good,
thoughts.
like it's so stupid and it's so
Oh
funny,
no.
and it holds
Yeah,
up.
it's just
Yeah.
and he's like he puts them in his pocket.
And then the
I'm like,
bully guy like punches his tater tots because he can't have any. So he just like grabs them and like punches them, like squishes them in his pocket. And then
it's just like
Napoleon's just like,
and like the whole time you're like, oh gosh, no. Cause like just thinking about tater tots in your pocket.
oh my
Like
goodness.
I would not eat a tater tot from my pocket. I'm sorry. That's just not what I would want to do.
Yeah, like some of the best lines, when he's talking to the
Honestly, when I
was
quote this movie, I just go, no.
well here, like there's some awesome lines, like when he's talking to the llama, Tina, you fat lard, come get some dinner. Tina, eat the food. And he takes
Come
the food
on,
on the
Tina.
spatula and like flings it at her, at the llama. And then I'm just pulling up some other
And
ones here.
also
Like
like
Kip has some good ones.
Napoleon Dynamite, like the thing with this movie is weird is that like they kind of have their eyes closed when they speak.
Yes, yeah.
So it's like
Or
Tina.
they're not looking, like that scene with the bracelet, like when she's selling the bracelets at the door. They
Yeah.
almost don't look at each other either. Like they kind of look down.
And it
Like they
adds
look
that
like,
like
yes,
like it adds this
awkwardness.
awkwardness.
So
Kip,
like
bring me the chapstick.
Deb's trying to go to college, so she's like selling these bracelets, and randomly in that scene you're talking about when she's at the door with Napoleon, randomly Kip in the background's like, your mom goes to college, and like no one moves or does anything, and it's so good. Yeah, like there's some like really good one-liners in this movie. Even
Yeah.
when Kip is about to leave with LaFonda and he's like, peace out. He does like the peace sign. Um yeah, it's so good. And like the milk
Or it's like,
scene's really good when he's eating at the cafeteria with Deb and he says, I see you're drinking 1%. Is that because you think you're fat? And then it
yeah.
like pauses and he's like, because you're not. You'd totally be drinking whole milk if you wanted to. Like it's so like it's like endearing.
Or
Like
like
it's
the
almost like
scene where
cute.
he's like,
Yeah.
I don't even have any good skills. You know, like nunchuck skills, bow hunting skills, computer hacking skills. Girls only want boyfriends who have great skills.
So true.
Like
Oh
it's
man.
just
Yeah, it's good.
maybe I need to learn nunchucks.
Doesn't he try learning nunchucks? I can't remember. Or someone does and
Uh,
they hit themselves. I think it's
I don't
him.
know. See the thing, this
Yeah.
movie is like
It's really good.
you can watch it and then like not even remember what is in it because it's just so much happens
So
that you
every
need to
time
like watch it again.
and every time I revisit this movie, like this movie does hold up. It is still funny. It's almost like just a time capsule now, you know, like it's
Yeah.
just absurd. It has no sequels. They didn't try like you would think they would try to make a franchise out of this thing, right? But they didn't. Like they just it's this
I think
own little gem on its own and it's like this anomaly and it stands up and it's just like really wholesome and it's really funny and it's all the characters are just really endearing and that's why too it reminds me of Wes Anderson movie in that regard because Wes Anderson does make really compelling
yeah.
memorable characters like even visually and this movie does a good
Yeah.
job of that too, right? So
And like this movie is just if it had a sequel, I don't think the sequel would be good.
no 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 no
Like I honestly think that even if it had a sequel, no one would know about it cuz it's just this movie you can't recreate.
no
Like
no
if you made
it's
this
like lightning in a bottle like it's
if
like
you made
this
this movie again, it would not be funny. It would just be boring, a copy. Like this movie
yes
is its own thing.
that's a good point, Josh.
It's just
I like what you said there. It's almost like this happy accident of just
yeah,
like
cuz
yeah
on paper, like and I said this, like watching the trailer, it looks so boring. I'm like I would not want to watch that movie cuz it just shows them like riding their bike, drawing on paper, talking. Like I'm like that's one of the worst trailers I've seen. But
right.
like and the thing is this movie does not look good from outside. Like it doesn't look like an interesting movie.
Okay.
You need to like watch it and like almost focus
Right.
and you'll see that it is more than it shows. It's just it's almost deceptive.
Right.
And if this movie came out today, I feel like no one would go out to see it because it and you said it before, it had a short theater span, which I was 1 years old, so I didn't go to the theaters obviously.
It became a
But
huge deal when it released on DVD because back then we rented movies, right?
yeah.
So we rented it and then we watched it and
Like
we wanted to buy it
you
right
know
away.
this movie
Yeah.
is almost like it's like Puss in Boots. Nobody was gonna go see that because it's like, oh, Puss in Boots 2, who cares? But then one person goes and sees it, says, "This is amazing," and then it becomes this huge, huge thing. That's what this kind of is. Obviously, these two movies are completely different, very, very different. But it's
Right.
kind of like that. It's a word of mouth type
I think it's
movie.
even more on its own in that regard because it's not attached to anything. You know,
Yeah,
like
and that's the thing. Like this movie would not have done well if there wasn't that one person who watched it and was like, "Whoa, this is actually a
yeah, like it
gem."
reminds me of what you said before. Like the more The Office went on, it got worse. Right, the last few
Yeah,
seasons, like
and it's
you
just
could just tell it was trying too hard. And this
And
movie
a
isn't
sequel
trying
to this
hard.
would be, it's not, and
It's
it's like,
just doing its own thing, and
it
it's
feels
like
like
this.
someone picked up a camera, had a group of friends,
Yes,
and they
it's
made the most
awesome.
mundane
Yeah.
film ever. And it just,
That's like super endearing, kind of cute, kind of creepy, really funny, and it is funny. Like
it's
it is
cute,
just
creepy. What is this? I'm confused.
Uncle Rico's creepy.
Am I supposed to like these characters? Well, yeah.
Kip and LaFonda's creepy. Like it's just, and you're
But
like,
it's like, would I
what?
talk to these people in real life? I don't know. Probably not.
But it does a good job of creating just really absurd caricatures of characters and like
Yeah.
making them realistic enough that it's not just stupid, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this movie, like, when you think about it, this could have easily been an absolute flop. It could have easily been dumb. It could have
Mhm.
easily been stupid, not funny, boring. But it just so happened to work together
yeah.
to make it almost like
And the 80s soundtrack
magnum opus
well, it's 80s
masterpiece. It's just
It's 80s and 90s because the dance song is amazing. I'm just gonna look it up here.
I actually know some of that dance.
And that music video for that song is awesome. It's super cool.
If you're watching the video right now, I'm kind of doing a dance.
Jamiroquai is the artist, and he's a 90s artist.
Jamiroquai?
Yeah, and it's
That sounds like a Napoleon Dynamite name.
it's called Canned Heat, and it's so good. Yeah, I love it. So it's just, and this movie is feel good. You know, it's a feel good movie, and it's got, it just reminds you of a different time too, and so yeah, and this movie also is pretty clean. Like it isn't. There's only a couple of creepy parts, but nothing sexual,
But,
nothing. Yeah,
like that's gonna go over the child's mind.
right. So Josh, what would you give this movie out of 10 doors?
This movie is like it's a 7. It's a
Out of 10?
7, yeah. 7 or
It's
8.
kind of lower than I thought it would be for you.
I would lean more towards 8. Cause it's just
Okay.
like I don't usually like comedies because I don't think they're funny.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie is just so endearing and comedic, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just such a good movie to watch with people.
It is.
It makes me happy. We've been talking about a lot of movies that just make me happy. Just thinking about them. Secret Life of Walter Mitty, Napoleon Dynamite. They're
And this movie, in all its dumbness, it is really smart. You know, it
is.
plays into a lot of its humor really well. The writing is pretty funny. Like it's
like,
and
I don't know how
fact
they
that
pulled this off.
Well, the fact that it's just filmed very deadpan, right? And everyone just owns it's actually pretty good acting because everyone owns their character.
It's almost
just so well, right?
Me speaking on Wednesday earlier, it plays on that because Jenna Ortega had to play one-sided, like straight face the whole time in the show. That's what and people are like, she's an amazing actor. That's the same with this movie. All these people are playing, like, I don't know how they filmed this movie with a straight face the whole time. When, like, especially when he's saying, Tina, come get, like, with the fat lard or whatever. Like, I don't have that. Like, how do you say that with a straight face? Tina, you fat lard, come get some dinner. Like, I can't say that without laughing. It's just, some of these lines, like, how on earth did they go? Like, I wonder how many cuts it took.
Like, you won't.
How many cuts did they take?
For
it probably was so much laughter in between. It's just,
and some of this, you know, you just won't see a movie really like this, and no one's gonna make a movie like this anymore. You know what I mean?
They shouldn't.
So,
no one should.
So I would, out of 5 stars, I will give this movie 3.5 out of 5.
That's fair.
Yeah, I really think this movie is great, and I do think people should watch it. And I can't wait till my kids are a bit older, and I'll show them, and they'll probably be like, "What the?"
Yeah, and then they'll grow up.
And that's why I
And
love this
the
movie, because it is like, what? Like, what are we watching? That's how we first reacted while
like
we
the
were
first
laughing.
time you watch it, you're just like, what?
Yeah.
And you're almost laughing out of surprise.
And this
And then
movie
the
is good
second
too,
watch,
because
you're
it
just like,
doesn't
wow.
it's not too long. Like, it's a good length. It doesn't overstay its
Also,
welcome.
it doesn't shove the comedy down your throat, being like,
No.
we are
No.
funny,
And it does
which a lot of
tell,
comedies do.
and this movie is a great comedy because it just adds on. Like, you don't think it's gonna get any funnier, and it keeps getting funnier. So
It just
now
gets better
the
and better.
downsides, I do think the dancing scene is probably my least favorite part of the movie. Like,
Really?
I remember all my friends thought that was like the funniest part, but that is not the funniest part of the movie.
No.
And it is a bit
I
long.
I think it's funny. It's just it's a good climax, as in like he gets out of his shell in that way,
Right. You don't
and like
expect him to
he does
dance
his
like that.
thing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's literally dancing for Pedro.
Yes. Yeah.
Like it's not even like a talent show. It's just he's like, I want to get my friend to
That's a
win,
good
so I'm
point.
gonna put on the best dance of my life, and it's just everybody just stares at him as the spotlight is.
Yeah, the reason I give it a 3.5, because some people will not like this humor. Like, it is a very specific
Yeah,
kind of humor. So, and I've been told, like, a lot of people think this movie is pretty boring. So if you're not bought in,
it's fair.
you know, if and it's shot like that on purpose, I think, like, it
Yeah.
leans into the drabness and it makes it funnier, in my opinion. But some people don't like
Mhm.
it, so it isn't for everyone. It is an acquired taste, you know, just like The Office. That's an acquired comedic taste. Same with Seinfeld, and I think all three of those entities kind of share the same kind
I
of
actually
humor.
haven't
So
seen Seinfeld.
yeah, it's so good.
I know that's like one of my quotes is actually I haven't seen that, or oh, I haven't heard of that. Oh, I haven't seen that. Like I think I
It'd
say
be
that
interesting to
every
see,
single.
you know, if you watch Seinfeld, it's I think it's still on Netflix. It might not be anymore, but it would
The
be
thing
interesting
is,
to
it
see
has
if
a
you like
laugh
it.
track.
Well, it's a sitcom. Yeah, it's a sitcom.
It's so hard to get past the laugh track though.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Napoleon Dynamite. We like it. We like the Napoleon Dynamite. We fully
We
recommend it.
do.
Watch
Yeah,
it. Have
thank you, Nolan.
fun. Thank you, Nolan, for the
Nolan was like,
suggestion.
"How are you gonna make a whole episode on this movie?"
And Nolan, you should let us know if you agree with us or not. If you would give it a higher score, and we'll read it on the next episode. Let us know
Yeah, how
how
many
you
doors
feel about
would
the
you
movie.
give it out of 10?
Yeah, doors or stars, whatever metric. What was Bannock's? Bannock's,
Yeah.
Curtis's metric. Yeah.
Nolan's.
So let's let us know what you think, Nolan. If we got stuff wrong, if you were surprised by our score, just put us in our place if you need to. But
I honestly don't think Nolan will be surprised that I like this movie.
thank you. Yeah, thank you for writing in. And just remember, I was in grade. Was I in grade 8 or 9? 2004. That would have
I
been
was
grade.
in grade 1 years old.
I would have been in grade 9.
I was 1 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I think, yeah. I couldn't think.
Join us next week as we will
And hey,
review.
you know, Legally Blonde is what you were going to say.
Yes.
But I have something to say. If you made it this far into the pod, make sure to text me Jordan's gray hairs. And there's a chance that I will forget. Especially for the next one. There is no way I'm going to remember.
And spoilers, we are recording the next episode
right after this.
not next week.
Yeah.
So you will hear your shout out in 2 weeks for that call out. So Josh will will have to be on the ball.
I am for sure going to drop the ball on that one. I'm going to close the door on that one because...
and I'm going to post, you know, the reason we're doing that is because I'm going away and I'm going to post some of my little mini vacations.
Out of your local Detroit.
Yeah, I'm going to post some of my little mini vacation pictures on the Cinematic Doors.
You know, Jordan,
Instagram.
we should actually go to Detroit and film there.
Detroit scared. After watching Barbarian, Detroit scares me. So
No. We need to go. Like, it only makes sense.
There you go. Well, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
And we don't do the plugs at the end. We do them at the beginning. So, Josh, what do you have to say?
Don't forget to close the door on the way out.
Ciao.